As we all know, living in a one-bedroom apartment, space is always at a premium. As we all know, apartments tend to get very small, some smaller than others. But luckily, for where I stay at, apartments are very fair size for just one person. That is not to say there are some apartment complexes around here that are very, very small. Now, remember what I said that space is always at a premium. When I said that, that is a real thing. When it comes to living in apartments, space is always at a premium, and nowhere is this more evident than in my kitchen. As you can see here, this is my kitchen. You can see that it's clearly a very, very small kitchen. As you can see in the photo of my kitchen, you can see that the stove, the sink, and the refrigerator are all just right by each other. They are so close to each other that you can actually just do a 360. Now, over time in my kitchen, it has become more cluttered with utensils, cookingware, and food items, making it very difficult to find what I need when I am cooking. For example, spices are scattered across different cabinets, and frequently used tools like spatulas and measuring cups are usually buried in drawers. This disorganization wastes time, creates frustration, and makes cleaning up after meals more stressful. I knew I needed a better system, which is why I decided to apply the 5S methodology to address these issues and bring order to my kitchen. Now, for those who do not know what the 5S methodology is, it is simply is a workplace organization system that aims to improve efficiency and reduce waste by keeping a clean and organized work environment. Now, for the first S, which is sort, it involves removing items that are unnecessary or don't belong in the space. For the next S, which is set in order, it is all about arranging everything for maximum efficiency, ensuring that frequent use items are easily accessible. For the third S, which is shine, it focuses on cleaning and inspecting the space to keep it functional. And for standardize, the fourth S, it introduces visual controls like labels or designated space to maintain the organization. And for the last S, you can't see it on the screen, which is sustain, which means ensure the changes are lasting through regular habits and reviews. I will also incorporate visual controls into my process, such as label containers, color-coded zones, and shelf markers to make it easier to find and return items from the rightful place. I chose this tool because it is systematic and practical, making it a perfect fit for the limited space of my one-bedroom apartment kitchen. Now, for the first step, sort, I kind of don't need to do that because stuff in my kitchen, they're already kind of sorted, so there's really no need for me to do that. So I'll just go ahead and just go to step two. Now, step two would be set in order. For that step, that just means like everyday utensils are placed in a drawer very close to the stove, making it very easy to get to. While my other stuff like baking sodas and other materials, they go in the top drawer that's right above the sink. As you can see here, all the stuff that I put on top of food to give it more flavor, I put them on the top drawer. And for also other measures, I also label my drawers as food utensils and baking tools, making it very easy to know which item goes in which what. And now for my second step, it will be shine. Now for the third one, which is shine, I'll then move on to deep clean all surfaces, including counters, cabinets, and drawers, and other cooking appliance. This is to ensure that everything looks fresh and felt fresh. This step isn't just about cleaning; it's also about inspecting damage, like damage or wear and tear, or like for very wobbly handles, squeaky cabinets, or for just making very minor repairs. As for the fourth step, which is standardize, this is where I will label all storage and shelves to indicate which item goes where.
As just for example, I label this shelf as the pasta shelf because it's full of pasta. So therefore, I label it as the pasta shelf. I label this as the baking tools because, as you can see, it has baking material in it. So therefore, I label it as the baking tools. I label this as a food bowl because that's where I use the plates to eat. I do this so I'll have a visual inventory for my pantry to keep track of what I have and also avoid to like kind of overstocking. And for the last step, which is sustain, and as for the last step, which is sustain, me personally, I don't really have to worry about this because everything is within a compact space, so I can pretty much see everything from in my kitchen. But at the end of the day, sustaining is more about maintaining these changes over time, implementing weekly routines to check for clutters and cleanup of any messes. For me personally, I also recommend that make a habit of to return items to their designated place after use. This will ensure that the organization stays intact and continues to make your kitchen efficient and stress free. Now we're going to look at some before pictures and after pictures of my kitchen. Now this is the before picture of my kitchen before I implemented the 5S's. And this is my kitchen after I implemented the 5S's. As you can see, there is a noticeable change within the kitchen. You can tell by all the seasoning and spices are all organized. The sticky notes are in their correct areas. All around just more cleaner. And now for the obstacles that I face and how I handle them. While implementing 5S's in my kitchen, I faced few obstacles. The first challenge was overcoming the sentimental attachment to certain items. Stuff like rarely used appliance. To handle this, I reminded myself of the goal, a functional and clutter-free kitchen. I also compromised by storing sentimental items like a favorite but rarely used mug in a separate box instead of the main kitchen space. Now for the other one, I didn't really have a problem with sorting because remember, it is a small kitchen. Everything is within a compact space, so I didn't really have a problem with sorting. And for sustaining, I don't really see that being an issue. Now for sustaining, most of the stuff that I use in my kitchen, it is an old apartment, so I would have to deal with like stuff just breaking down over time. But other than that, I find sustaining not really that difficult. And for other things, I also will set a reminder on my phone for a weekly kitchen reset, which will kind of also help me stay very consistent.